Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Welcome, Bruce.
Hey, David. How are you doing tonight?
Good. Got my camera set up here, but then I have you over here. I might have to just shift my computer. There we go. That'll make it a little more sensible, maybe. Okay. I got this new setup, Bruce. I got a new camera and a new stand, and I've already got the fancy mic. Like we're just moving into what is this, the 21st century?
No, all you need to do is get your head in the middle of the screen and we'll have her beat.
Shut up. All right. Yeah, whereas I'm as discombobulated as the Edmonton Oilers in the last 3 games. Yeah. Somehow, Bruce, they managed 2 wins in these last 3 games, and they almost even got a win in Chicago or a loser point or something. But they have not been playing well, and they were outchanced 17-9 in terms of grade A chances. And there was lots of grade B chances for Columbus as well, but they managed to win the game 4-1. So, Bruce, this is our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast. What is your good thing?
Gotta be Mikko Koskinen.
Yeah.
Another stolen goalie win, second one this week for Mikko. And he was the only thing keeping this game from becoming an absolute rollover in the first period. When Columbus, it seemed like I don't know how Edmonton came out of that period with the lead. Like the puck was in Oilers' end for like 19 out of the 20 minutes, and Columbus was winning all the puck battles. And every time a puck Oiler and a Blue Jacket and a puck would come together on the boards, the puck would wind up going to either directly to another Jacket or directly back towards Edmonton's end of the ice. And they were second to the puck, and they were discombobulated for so much of this the game. But the first period in particular was just an absolute horror show. Anyway, Koskinen kept his stuff together, and it's a good thing he did, because the guys in front of him were struggling mightily, and Big Mikko had the answers, and on 1 or 2 occasions that he didn't, I think his crossbar saved one, and guy missed a wide open net that could have changed the face of this game, and he hung in there to very nearly pulled off the shutout. We'll talk more about that in a minute, but he got the win. That's the main thing, and he was the main and almost only reason that they came out on top in this game. Not quite the only reason, but he was. Without him, no chance.
He's not exactly an acrobatic goalie. When he goes down, his shoulders, you might be able to see a little bit of light between the crossbar and hit the top of his shoulders, but not much. Like his shoulders are right there. Like, and he's just always in position. So huge. He's got pretty good reflexes, pretty good. He moves pretty well in the net, but he's not Mike Paul Mateer, but I don't know if there's a goalie who covers more of the net when he's on his knees in the NHL than Koskinen. Like there may not be. And what it made me think, Bruce, is just wait till we have our first, and we're going to get this, our first 7-4 goalie or 7-2 goalie. Like there's some of these athletes in the NBA already, right? Who are incredible athletic specimens, guys out of Europe as well, right? Because a lot of black guys in the States don't play hockey, so we're not going to probably get that kind of athlete. But some of these guys from Latvia are 7 feet tall, and Lithuania 7 feet tall, playing in the NBA, Germany. And it's one of these days when we're going to get this 7-foot goalie, and I just wonder what it's going to mean for goaltending in the NHL. Because Koskinen, he just takes up so much of the net. And you get a bigger guy than him, it's going to be ugly trying to score a goal.
Yeah, well, you talk about how much of the net you can see over his shoulders. The other thing is you have to put your mind's eye in the position of the puck. you're looking down from above and you might be able to see a little space, but the puck on the ice, if the goalie is a quarter of the way between the goal line and the position of the puck, he only has to cover 3 feet of the net. From that vantage point, the puck can only see the crossbar.
Yeah.
And so as long as he's in position, there's really nothing upstairs. Unless you go outside on his glove side, like Columbus was trying to do for most of this game.
Yeah. Well, that's probably why. But man, he's been dialed in the last couple games, and that's fantastic. The Oilers
Also,
really, I was 50-50 on the Oilers. So I thought it was a coin flip heading into the season. But it's turning up heads here, Bruce. It's like pretty amazing that both Smith and Koskinen, I don't know what Koskinen's overall save percentage is now, but it's getting probably
was
league average at least, and maybe above that
better.
now.
Oh,
So,
it's better. It was 914 coming into tonight, and it probably went up a couple points tonight with 45 saves. So,
yeah. My good thing, Bruce, is the NHL slowest line. It's got to be the NHL slowest line. James Neal, Jujhar Khaira, and Alex Chason. And if someone had asked me going into that game, if I thought that line would be the Oilers' best line and being on 2 goals and kind of lead the team and make a lot of good plays, I would have said no. I would have said, you should probably play Gaetan Haas instead of Khaira. But Jujhar Khaira had one of his best games of the year, and he was sharp on the puck. James Neal was going well. Neal and Chason are very smart hockey players. I like them as hockey players, and I think actually they're both going to be really good in the playoffs because they're big, rugged guys with some skill, and the game kind of slows down a bit in the playoffs in some ways, and I think they're going to be strong. But the first goal, I think both goals, if I'm not mistaken, went in off of Columbus players,
mhm.
with Khaira setting the screen both times. And yeah, that was just very sweet to see that line working together. Jujhar going to the net like that. And, and the second goal featured one of my favorite things, which I've remarked on many times. Caleb Jones' ability to get pucks off quick to the net, and which is absolutely crucial. You got to score those kind of goals, and I've complained bitterly that the Oilers don't get enough compared to other teams. They got 2 of them tonight, and good for the
Yeah.
Oilers. You got to score that kind of goal to win in today's NHL. Can't all be the nice passing play. And there was, of course, the one goal that was a nice passing play, but that was the insurance marker. So good for the fourth line, and we'll see how they do going forward. I mean, I'm skeptical, but because they do lack foot speed. But if those guys are all getting their feet moving, they can play. All 3 of them can play some hockey. So.
Mhm. Yeah, well, for Alex Chason, that was his 10th goal of the season tonight. And when he signed that extension, I mean, there was a lot of sort of um, back talk about that, the value of that
Oh
contract.
yeah.
And the whole thought was, well, he's never going to duplicate 22 goals. And it was pretty obvious he wouldn't because his whole career he's been, like a 13, 15 goal guy. But there was every reason to expect that he was going to get 13 or 15 goals. And he's up to 10 now, and he's kind of on track for that. Uh, I don't, I mean, he brings value to the power play. And you don't hear hardly anybody talking about him on the power play, but he's one of the 6 guys. He and Neal split that net front role, but Chason's been getting more and more of that. And back in the earlier in the season when the Oilers actually got a few power plays, uh, he was very, very effective in that net front role. He's the lowest paid guy on the power play by over $2 million. For all you want to complain about his contract, I think about that for a second because he's, they're the best power play in the league and he's part of it.
It's a good
And
way to frame it, Bruce.
he's very good at what he does. And what it's not much of it involves handling the puck, but a whole lot of it involves getting in position and getting in the way and setting screens. And, when he does battle for the puck, win it and get it to a teammate and then head back to the net front. But even strength, he's okay. He can hold his own. And whether it's a fourth line, third line situation, uh, he can do brief turns in the top 6, but anyway, he's He's a player. I like the player. I think he's smart, and I think he's tough, and I think he's willing to pay the price for his team. And
What's your other good thing?
I'm going to go with, man, this game. Darnell Nurse, who I saw good on a number of plays, even though he got beat a few times. Uh, I saw there's one play in particular where he made a real good play to win a puck battle inside the blue line of the of Columbus to keep the play alive for at least a little bit of a scoring chance. And then Columbus came back hard the other way, and it was Pierre-Luc Dubois who was a load
Yeah,
and a
that was
nasty one
nasty. Yeah.
for much of the night. And Nurse came all the way back and stripped the puck off of him. And then after that, he got a penalty for what do they call that one? Roughing,
When he
where
who did
yeah,
Nurse or Joe?
Nurse did on that same sequence when he made the two really good plays
Oh
in a row, and
yeah,
then he got a
yeah.
roughing penalty, and that was roughing, but some dude clubbing Kyler Yamamoto with the stick is nothing. I mean,
They just
I don't
missed
know.
that, I think.
Yeah, well, they missed a lot. Anyway, uh, we'll one power play, 2 games in a row, one power play, and when you got the league leading power play, that's a big part of what makes it go. Now that said, the one power play was awful, but you know,
Yeah.
maybe more than one chance they start to get it together, but it didn't happen.
All right. My second good thing, Bruce, was I think his name's Emil Benstrom,
Mm-hmm.
Columbus forward,
Mm-hmm.
and him missing that net, that wide open net. How did he miss that? How how did he miss that shot? Because he had the
Yeah.
puck on his stick. He had a little bit of time there.
Uh,
If he just taken a little bit of time, he would have drained it. Like Koskinen was down and out, and he didn't even hit the net. Wasn't even a scoring chance. He didn't even hit the net. He hit Draisaitl beside the net. So come on, buddy. But good for you. Like, thank you, Emil Benstrom, for the gift. That was as good a gift as Koskinen was going to get that game, and he sure deserved it. I mean, Koskinen deserved every break he got because he was just playing fat. He was so sharp tonight. But yeah, Benstrom, uh, thank you. That's my second good thing. What's your let's move on to the bad things because I think there was something, Bruce, that you didn't like right near the end of the game there.
oh, there's a lot of things I didn't like about this game, but I really, 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 as an old goalie, I really didn't like Leon Draisaitl. 1 minute to go in the game. It's 4-on-4. The Oilers are owning the puck in the other team's end of the ice. They're doing the right things. They're cycling in the corner. The D-men are activating, and they activate right past Leon at the blue line. And he decides to make one of his passes into sick little passes that would have looked great if it would have worked. It didn't work. So
Oh God.
that's problem number one. Now it's a giveaway, and they got the puck. Problem number two is immediately there's a fire drill, going hard the other way, and Leon is the last guy back because that's where he was when he let the pass go. He took a second to read the problem, so by now it's a clear cut breakaway. So then he does get on his horse and he hustles back against the guy, uh, uh, Gus Nyquist. But as soon as Nyquist fires the first shot, he stops skating again. And of course, Koskinen stops the first shot, and then there's a rebound. And because Leon stops skating, Nyquist wins the race to the rebound and pots it in the empty net to take away a richly deserved great shutout by Koskinen. And I'm sorry. I just think that's disrespectful to your goalie. In that situation, 3-0, last minute of the game, there should be one thought on your mind, and that should be look after the damn puck and check your ass off to keep the puck out of your net. And that didn't happen. And I'm very disappointed that sequence took place. It took the shine off of the final buzzer to me. The game ended with the Oilers winning, and I was pissed because of the lost shutout. It shouldn't be that way, but
You could have
as I
given
say,
Koskinen.
goaltenders union has me up in arms about that whole
Yes.
sequence.
Well,
Not good enough.
you have now filed the grievance. You could have given Koskinen a 10 that game, I think, maybe. Might have been a
I
10.
had full intentions of giving him a 10, but for goalie to get a 10 without a shutout, I don't know if that's even
No,
doable.
I would not do that. I would always give a 9.
He's getting a 9, but
Yeah.
Leon's getting docked more than Koskinen is for that
Yeah, you
goal.
can dock him 2 grades, 2 full grades. He Draisaitl was made major mistakes on 5 grade A chances against Bruce. For a forward, that's really weak. And he had some really bad moments on defense. His feet were not going. They were going on the attack, but this was a game that Leon was
Oh,
mainly going one direction, not the other. And that happens with Leon Draisaitl now and then. Bruce,
third period, he got it going, and his line was part of the reason
mhm,
that finally the Oilers started to take control of the play a little bit.
yes.
But that was it. Like the first 2 periods, really, the top lines didn't have it going on much at all.
My other bad thing is it's not that like bad a thing. I didn't like uh, the line combinations tonight.
Hmm.
Um, I I don't see you have a line that is performing better than any other line in the NHL. The Dynamite line, Draisaitl, Yamamoto, and Nugent Hopkins. You have a line like that who's just killing it. I don't see breaking up that line, Bruce. I know you got to get Connor McDavid going, but there's options, right? Tyler
Hmm.
Ennis has been playing well with
Yeah.
Connor McDavid. Zach Cassian played well for half the year. Why not go Ennis, Cassian, McDavid, and see how that goes? And what we saw was Draisaitl and Yamamoto. I think Ennis had 3 or 4. He had a couple great shots on net, but then he had 2 other chances where he was set right up in the slot and he didn't get a shot off. He kind of took it behind the net. And I just thought Nuge would have scored on all those
Yeah.
chances that Ennis had. Nuge would have scored on one of them
At
because
least
he's
one of them.
so
Yeah.
hot right now.
Hmm.
And I didn't like breaking up that highly successful unit. And even that said, I completely understand the need to get McDavid going, but you just signed Zach Cassian to be your winger for McDavid essentially for the next few years, and you might as well go back to that. And they did, which was smart. But I just stick with
Hmm.
Ennis. He was playing well with McDavid. So, and then the other thing, Oscar Klefbom had a pretty rough night coming back, and he made some good plays, but he just wasn't sharp, and he was made some mistakes that led to grade A chances against. And I just think Jones and Larson had been killing it uh, pretty much for the last 2 weeks. Just stick with that. Give Klefbom a game or two with Russell on the third pairing, and that would have been okay. That would have worked too. So I think the coach, uh, I wouldn't give him high marks for this game tonight. Put it that way.
They asked him at the presser today, if it ain't broke, why fix it? And he said, if it ain't broke, ain't broke, you ain't looking hard enough. Guess if you're a coach, you can find something wrong with everything. But I thought the move of Nugent Hopkins, I thought Nuge himself had maybe his worst game of 2020 tonight.
Yeah.
And he struggled, and he was a little bit out of sorts, and they clicked a couple of times, and he too in the third period was a little bit better. But I mean, that one power play they had, twice he just fumbled the puck and they lost. They
Yeah.
went to so much trouble to gain the zone, and they just coughed it up with like bad handles of the puck by him.
It's different playing with McDavid than Draisaitl,
Hmm.
right? It's not
Oh,
easy.
sure.
It's not. It's. I think it's probably maybe easier to play with Draisaitl because he's always looking to pass it to you, so you're looking to get open, right? With McDavid, it's more. You're charging. You're trying to read his charges at the net. You charging at the same time. It's a little diff. Like sometimes McDavid's looking for you too when he's wheeling in the offensive end. But the other times when he's on the rush, it's this different can of worms, and you just gotta. It's. I think it's a little bit harder. Nuge can do it, and he's done it well. Cassian can do it well, but so can Ennis. So anyway, I don't like the answer to that question from Tim.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that doesn't make sense. So I Tippett's he's a freaking great hockey coach.
Hmm.
So But
Well,
this is just
they,
my one fan's opinion. There you
they
go.
got the 2 points, and I guess that's the answer to every question that fans raised tonight. But boy, that was not a work of art, was it?
No, and he's trying to shake the team up. They have been crap. And
Hmm.
they had the dynamite line together when they were crap, but I don't think they were the problem in those games. Maybe if you looked harder, they were. Maybe I missed that. But certainly McDavid's line has been broken, and they needed to make a change there. And I think putting Cassie in there is going to work. That was a very nice goal that they did score. And I'm just
Hmm.
really glad they scored it because McDavid, he's sick apparently.
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
That's what
And
they were saying. So,
he looked
Bruce,
at.
what
I
is
mean, there was one play where the puck came to McDavid inside the Oilers' blue line along the boards, and 99 times out of 100, McDavid's going to pick up that puck, turn, make a quick turn, and steam up the ice and have the whole other team backpedaling. And he just didn't have the step, and he didn't have the burst, and he wound up turning it over right inside Edmonton's territory. And it's just, it's not him. I think he's playing through something. I'm actually going to go gentle on McDavid, even though I don't suppose he had that great of a game tonight. But I docked him hard enough last game, and if he's sick, well, he's trying to play through it and help his team. He did get a goal.
he did get a goal? Bruce, what's your number?
My number is 980, actually decimal 980. And that is Mikko Koskinen's save percentage this week, in which he faced 99 shots and stopped 97 of them. And I think it might have been the very last one that was the second goal that he allowed, because he stopped 42 of 43 and absolutely stealing a win in Dallas. And then he came on in relief after Mike Smith got blown out, and he kept Edmonton in the game, stopping all 10 shots he faced. Uh, and that game, Edmonton was, because they were behind, they were pushing the play. And the other
Yeah.
games where they had the lead, like, he didn't get a lot of help from his team, and he won 2 games. Like, they didn't score hardly any goals for him, and they didn't check all that well in front of him or prevent. I mean, he faced 17 grade A scoring chances in both games and 6 against Chicago. So he faced 40 grade A scoring chances, David, and he gave in 2 goals
Wow.
in
Yeah.
two and a half games.
In the majority of the games the Oilers have played this year, Bruce, they've had the better goalie. And that's
Oh,
it's been a long time since we've been able to say that. I guess Talbot's year. You could say that in
yeah.
Talbot's year, in his one big year there. Okay, Bruce, my number is 2 out of 11. And only in 2 out of the last 11 years have the Edmonton Oilers had 80 or more points. And now they have 82. So I'm going to tell you what the points were in those years. And when I read them, it just kind of, it's like this, to me, it's this conjures up this flashback of what it's like to, like, how have we been able to do this, Bruce? Like, we've been
I
doing this
know.
blogging and cult of hockey.
You're going to say 62 over and over again. I just know it.
All right.
I remember these numbers.
It starts in 2009-10, the decade of darkness, 62 points, 62 points, 74 points, and then in a truncated season, 45 points, which over a full season would have been about 78 or 70. 67 points, 62 points, 70 points. Then they get 103. And we all thought it was hunky door, but it was not. Then they got 78, 79, and now they have 82 points, and they've got 13 more games to play. So, Bruce, pretty sweet this year. This has been a very, very sweet season for me as an Oilers fan. It's like I don't like it was the hardest years I found. I don't know about you, but for me it was like 2014, 15, 2013, 14, the Aikens era. For some reason that was the hardest one for me, but glad we're at least this year it's going good.
Yeah, well, they keep stopping the bleeding. They've only had one losing streak as long as 3 games all year, and that's even counting overtime losses. Like they had one streak in December where they lost 4 in a row and they only got 1 point. And otherwise, they've nipped every other 2 game losing streak in the bud, or else they've nipped it after 1 game. But they've managed to avoid the big slide, and they've only had 3 winning streaks of 3+ games. But ideally, you have more winning streaks than losing streaks, and they have, and that's what keeps their head above water.
My cat is just trying to break into a cupboard here. If you hear some scratching in the background, they know how to open the drawers with their paws. We had to put kids locks on our drawers in our kitchen because our cats can open them. Okay, Bruce, the Oilers are in first place according to the official NHL standings. I don't know how they calculate it, but because they're tied with Vegas, and they both played the same number of games. So they're in first place in the Pacific right now. 82 points in 69 games. And Bruce, I don't see the Oilers getting any worse. This is a good hockey team. They're not like 3 games aside here, but Clefbaum's back. He'll crank it up again here. They're getting healthy. Unless everybody gets the flu or worse. Won't get into that, but this is a very good hockey team. Caleb Jones and Bear have really shored up that blue line in a major way. Koskinen and Smith are solid in net. Yamamoto at forward. Yeah, I like this team, and I think they can finish first. I think they can do it. What about you?
Yeah, well, 37, 24, and 8. They're exactly tied. Vegas has the identical record.
Yeah.
But Edmonton has 2 more regulation wins, and that's the first tiebreaker is regulation wins.
Okay.
And so the Oilers, they're ahead of everybody in that department, with the exception, I suppose, of, Colorado and St. Louis. They're all of the teams in the wild card hunt or in the Pacific have under 30. And Edmonton's been, when they do win games, they usually win them in regulation, and they did again tonight. So I don't know, David. I mean, after watching these last 3 games, I'm of 2 minds about it. Like I'm coming away thinking, well, if they can win those games, they must have something going on. But honestly, that could have been a 3 game losing streak right there, based on performance.
Yeah, and
they seem to hit the wall in this last short while, and hopefully they can put a stop to that and find come out with an effort where they match the other team's effort for starters, and match the other team's execution, and get good goaltending, but not have to totally rely on it to steal a game.
Yeah, if the Oilers had lost those 3 games, they'd have 78 points. That's just 2 points. Winnipeg, who's tied for the last wild card spot, is 76.
Yeah.
Winnipeg, Nashville, and Vancouver. So Edmonton would just be 2 points, out of not making the playoffs if they hadn't had that. But they seem to answer every question, like as the questions come up, they seem to get the answer right. And sometimes the answer is really good goaltending. Sometimes that's how teams win games. So, you hope that your goalies are going to steal 5 to 10 games a year. That's fantastic if that happens. And that's what happens on good teams. And that's what's happening with the Oilers this year. Happened with Talbot that year. He stole some games. So, good stuff. All right, Bruce, when's the next Monday night?
Yeah, they're Monday and Wednesday. It's bad timing for me, and I think you'll be podcasting possibly with Kurt. We'll see how that goes, but they're playing Vegas and then Winnipeg Monday and Wednesday, and it's like every other day, the whole way down the streak. So yeah, Mikko Koskinen, 917 now. He raised his save percentage 3 points tonight. So he's getting the job done, and that's that puts him in the top half of goalies, and like sort of regular goalies anyway.
Yeah, top half of starters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if he heats up, I mean, he can get hot, Mikko Koskinen. We've seen runs where he's been in like a 925, 930 goalie for a month and a half at a time. So, the 3-meter man. Good goalie. Yeah. All right, Bruce. Well, it was a pleasure to talk to you again tonight.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.